My garden is my happy place. In spite of all the lizards and other insects that I can't stand, there's nowhere else I found myself to be happier. Hello family, my name is Chrissy and thank you for joining me today for this impromptu garden tour. Now it's been a while since I've done a garden video and quite frankly, there's not much going on in my garden. Life, work. I only have Saturdays and Sundays, Saturdays or Sundays, only one day of the week to come in the garden. And so my garden suffered. There's not much going on, but join me for a quick tour of what is happening. I've actually, over the past, maybe say a month, I have decided to get more active in the garden. Now there are a couple of items that's here that's longer than a month, but it's maybe about a month now that I've actually started coming in the garden every single week. All right, so I want to share with you what is going on. I am not using any assistant today, and so forgive me if the camera is shaking a bit. I want to share this bed with you first. It's one of the longer beds that I have in the garden. As I said, I've been here consistently for about a month now, but these tomato plants and the pepper plants, I've been here for over that. Now you can see that these plants have tomatoes on them, but I just pruned them back because I came in the garden this morning, or this afternoon rather, and it is they were all looking like that, dried leaves and all of that. They are being watered consistently and I have fertilized them. They were doing so well, had a lot of blossoms. You can still see some blossoms hanging on, so I'm not sure what went wrong with these, but I am planning on doing my best to revive them. And of course, I'm outside, but today's Sunday and my neighbors are home. Persons in the community are working outdoors, so of course you'll hear other noise in the background. Now this container, I usually plant like beets and carrots in this container. It's a half a drum, but some time ago I planted some cherry tomatoes in it, and since then they keep coming back. I'm hoping this is cherry tomatoes because I didn't have any seeds, so we'll see once they start fruiting. They're actually blossoming now. Next you see my trellis. Alright, so guys, in this bed again I have, see, cherry tomatoes. These are volunteer plants, and this bed look crowded, but I find that my beds, my garden, they do a lot better when they're like this. Plus, as you know, I live in Jamaica, and where I live it's very humid, and so I have a lot of snails and slugs. I think I have slugs more than snails, and they go to work on my plants. You can see in this bed here how they've eaten just about everything out of this bed. So when they're crowded like this, my plants do better. Now these are also drums that I cut lengthwise, but I have two that I cut crosswise, but the lengthwise ones, I had 4 of these and I got rid of one because it rotted down. Now in this bed I have broccoli growing, I have peppers, I have cucumbers, and my cucumbers are putting on fruits. They're setting. You can see that the tomatoes are setting as well, and the peppers as well. I know someone is gonna say, or probably gonna say, that it's too crowded, and you know, but it works. There is a pea. I've never had pea before. I got some pea, some seeds, and of all the seeds I planted, I only got that one. So I'm working with that green pea to see whether or not it comes. I have some callaloo. That's most persons know it as amaranth, but in Jamaica it's callaloo for us. In this bed I have some older callaloo, which I think is going to seed probably. Now I have some summer squash, the yellow squash, but as you can see from this plant, it has powdery mildew on it, and I'm not sure why. Now I saw a video where a gentleman used peroxide spray and got rid of the powdery mildew on his plant. I was thinking of removing them from that bed and putting them in a bed by themselves. Here I had pak choy, but it has gone to seed, and I have where the hose is covering, I have beet. In this bed I only have, along with weeds, I have some carrots growing, and I have this large rosemary bush. Now for this bed, I was growing, what was I growing in this again? I was growing sweet potatoes in this bed, but I have not been successful with the sweet potatoes in this bed. Usually I get really nice sweet potatoes, but I've not been successful in this bed. And so 2 weeks, but I have planted corn here before and they did well. So about 2 weeks ago I transplanted these corn and they're doing well. They need some fertilizer, but in spite of needing fertilizer, they are doing pretty well. Now this bed, this is another bed that I have here, and this bed, everything that was in it finished, and I had some let me show you this bed over here. I'm actually doing what you call, what is it called again, composting in place. So I'm digging up the soil that is in this bed, and I'm going to be putting like kitchen scraps. I got those from the canteen at work. I don't know why I haven't done that before, because for the beds that I've used, like leaves and other kitchen scraps under the soil, those beds do very well, like the containers over here. And for this one, in spite of what the tomatoes look like, those beds usually do very well. And so this bed, everything that was in it finished. I had some like cowpeas and some other stuff in here. I had this basil plant. Not sure what's happening with it, but it's drying, so I was breaking off some plants, you know, just to dry them and get them to use before it dies completely. So what happened now is that I put some, I think these are either broccoli or cauliflower, transplanted some of these, and now I'm in the process of transplanting some pak choy. I have, these were, yeah, as I was saying, these are okra. They were in that bed, but that bed is so dense and devoid of nutrients that it matters not what I did, they were not doing well. They shedded all their leaves, like this one here where you're seeing the baby okra, or this one here that's dried. But now, since I transplanted them to this bed, they've put on leaves and they're setting fruits, right? I have a cup of pepper, some peanuts. The peanuts, they're done. I have a couple pepper plants and I have a couple tomato plants. I can't wait to see this bed fully functional, looking quite fertile. And I see where I have a couple melon seeds coming up. Didn't plant those. Maybe they were in a cup or something that I set, because sometimes I set in the seed trays, which I don't have any in here now. Sometimes I set seeds in these cups, like now for this bed, what I've mulched this bed with is shredded leaf. So I would normally, all right, let me give you another look at something. So I put the leaves in the beds like this. There's not much growing in here except for some herbs. I have mint, and I think that right there coming up looking at grass is a ginger plant. And then there are like some what do you call this again, some leaf of life. I have some Guinean weed, and those small ones are leaf of life and Guinean weed. And then right there in the blocks I have coming up a dog blood. Don't know the scientific name for dog blood, but in Jamaica women use it to help with their menstrual issues, and use leaf of life for like colds and other things like that. This is one of the tastiest mints you'll ever have, and it just keeps spreading. I do intend to transform this bed. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it as yet, but I need to have it, you know, more active. So that's what the leaves look like, and the plants weren't doing well. So what I did, I watched a couple of videos, because I don't have a mulcher. So I watched a couple of videos and I saw where persons use their weed whacker to shred the leaves. Now I think I went overboard, because my leaves, some of them were shredded like dirt. They looked like dirt when I was finished. But I think I did pretty well, and the leaf, they're not matching together and keeping water from the beds. The beds are doing pretty well. Finally, I have this bed here, and for this bed, guys, I have more of the summer squash, and I have a lot of callaloo. And I must be honest and tell you, I don't have a clue what this is. It's either, I know I planted some broccoli, and I planted some broccoli, and I planted some cauliflower. Previously, when I've planted them, they seem to look similar, but I think this may be cauliflower. We'll see. So I have a lot of callaloo coming up in this bed. I have a basil. You can't see it because the leaves of this squash is hiding them. I think I'm gonna transplant them. They're so big to move, but then this bed is so moist that I don't think it should be an issue, really. I'm hoping. There's a couple beets in here as well, and a couple pepper plants that's actually seem to be putting on setting fruits. And of course I have this one cucumber plant that is actually setting fruit right now. And finally I have these two containers. They need watering with some sweet potatoes that I just planted. Right, I think that's all I have growing in the garden except for my trees, which I'll share with you guys in another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to your tips, your suggestions, and your comments generally. Take care.